Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. SeKo Starcraft back with some pro replays. Found some ladder games here. This is Demuslim. This is Demuslim. This is VFOC Dragger. Sure. Against Evil Genius's Demuslim. Raid call. Up here in the top right. Streaming? No. Which, it's an interesting thing. I bet if you're a pro, because Demuslim streams a lot, very popular streamer, that if people probably ask him that quite a bit, and it's probably even in his best interest to say no so people don't stream cheat. So easy to just bring up Twitch, and Demuslim's usually one or two on the streaming side of things when he's playing Devil Terran. It's an interesting supply table position. And yeah, it's very easy to just look at that and see what your opponent's doing and then just go beat it. So, wouldn't surprise me too much either way. Love you. I love you too, Demuslim. Now let's see what that means. Like, a lot of times fanboys will try funky stuff just because they know they're playing against somebody really good. But also this is, I think, Grandmaster ladder, so there's probably not as much stupidity going to be happening because of that. Probably going to have a gateway expand, maybe a cybernetics core first. This map's pretty fast to rush on, so it wouldn't surprise me too much either way. Tried to do a little bit of laddering today. Wasn't having a great time at it. Did you ever play times when you're just not playing smooth? For some reason I was playing, I just couldn't get my strategies down. Even the games that I was winning, I wasn't happy with. It was sloppy. Sloppy to say the least. We did have the gas down fairly early, so we might have Reapers. Well, it's very likely we're having Reapers unless he's going to be rallying his Marines to the middle of nowhere. Which is interesting. Opening up with Reapers against a protoss can work really well. We did have these gas throwdown really early here, double gas, but it doesn't look like it's going to impact his cybernetics core timing too much. Should be able to have his mothership core or his stalker out and on the way fairly soon. Reaper's still got to cross quite a bit of terrain to get down there. So now that I'm trying to play a little bit more ladder, I'm going to be watching this a little bit more closely to watch a little bit of the build orders and the timings. The Reaper expand is really nice. It's something that I probably should get into. I'm still too much of a coward. I usually make 2 Reapers, make an expansion inside my base, cower for a while, then come out and expand slowly. But the interesting thing about getting this expansion down with this timing is even if your opponent scouts it, it just makes him mentally feel really far behind. I don't know if anybody else has encountered that where you're playing and then the guy's got his expansion down, there's guys mining at it, and you're like, why am I not there yet? You just feel pretty crappy about it. So the mothership core will pop out in enough time to defend. Super standard. Maybe get this one pro. Oh wow, that's risky. Almost lost it too. I was worried he was gonna run it right into that there lineup and just get rolled over. You'll see the timing of the Nexus, but he's not really going to get too much damage in with that Reaper. It just allowed him to know if he was going to get cheesed or some sort of 4-gate play maybe. Something ridiculous. But now that he sees an expansion, maybe it wouldn't even surprise me too much to see. I was thinking maybe even another fast 3rd command center or something. But it's too easy for a 2-base Protoss all in with Blink Stalkers or something. The expansion timing is really good for Demuslim. He should get that down a lot faster. But obviously, did he get that? He did get that guy. Good job, little guy. Whoopsies. You gotta be careful. Sometimes you can do tricky stuff with the sentry and force field him against the rocks or something, and then you can snipe him out. Really fast forge. When I see this kind of stuff, it's either he's got some sort of timing play in mind or he's playing for the late game. It's only 1 forge, but I'm assuming he wants to get those upgrades started really quickly. We'll see if he's got intentions of some sort of 2-base pressure. Robotics facility down. Or he's more interested in actually just playing out for the late game. And that's something I almost never walk into a game considering. I almost never think like, oh, late game time, I'll just go and play super standard. Like, I just feel like I have to put on pressure and go do damage. And sometimes that's to my detriment. Sometimes it works well, sometimes you just lose. Great little amount of units here. There isn't really too much on the field right now for the Protoss to defend this. Sentries are obviously stuff you want out nice and early because they let you really... That Reaper's having a bad day. They let you really control space well against these harass units. But if it was a Banshee, those sentries would get picked off and they'd be very expensive. And vice versa, up against all these Marines and Marauders. He's actually pulling the army out of position right now and might be able to get some damage in on the front. Nope. That Nexus cannon's just so beefy. It's beefy. He's actually gonna keep the Reaper alive. It's impressive. So unfortunately, he didn't get too much done. I don't know if he was paying attention to this army. I don't know if he sees the observer in here or not. Doesn't look like it. Sniping off those observers is so much fun. I mean, economy-wise, it costs pretty much just as much to snipe it off as it is to use a mule. So I don't. It's a bit debatable on the economy side, but you just put that protoss in the dark a little bit more, and they feel afraid. You know, they can't deal with it. There he goes. We do have a Twilight Council down. We're going to see if this is actually for some DT play, or if it's going to be for Blink Stalkers. I could see it being for either in the standpoint. He does have enough gateways up to really support either. He's got the gas taken at all of his bases. Charge started. It might just be some sort of, yeah, allowing him to get more upgrades and pushing something a bit more funky into maybe a heavy zealot push. Just always fun. So super sexy. Pretty good sized army here from Demuslim. While I'm having myself a Life of Chai beer from Big Rock Brewery. It's kind of got a chai tea infusion to it, which sounds extremely gross, but I actually kind of enjoy it. It's not too bad. Demuslim feels pretty comfortable at this standpoint. This opening from the Terran is really nice. It's one that I want to get a little bit better at, because against a Protoss player that you know is macroing, you can control the map quite well for quite a while. Hallucination does see the timing of the army here. Now, charge is finished. Oh, you see the hallucinated Colossus here is more to just try to deter the Terran army. This is a pretty good chunk of stuff. Stim is about to finish. Great timing. And the thing is that Demuslim might just want to trigger a Nexus cannon and then pull off into the main with. Well, I got the Mothership Core for a couple of Marines. I don't know if he bought into the Colossus play. I don't see any starports getting rushed down. He's actually getting more barracks. Storm on the way. This is becoming super popular right now. Just sneaks away too. Cool. 8 kills already? Wow. Sure as heck didn't see all those. So, as I was saying, I'm not going to say this is super fast Storm, but getting it before any other area of effect damage is becoming a bit more popular. The Colossus tech, the cost of getting a Colossus is really hard. You can always cast those Storms, make those Archons. It's just a more versatile build, and I think a lot of people, especially when I was watching, say, the BlizzCon, you start seeing a lot of Protosses doing that, and then going for a late-game Colossus switch. And it's been the other way around for so long, where a lot of players would be so much more interested in getting out those Colossus right away, because that's going to be so hard for them to deal with. But now the Terrans are dealing with that better. Some Stim Marauders running past, or something of that nature. It's really not working out that great for the Protoss players. Looks like it is a really heavy 2-base pressure that's in the works here. Storm just finishing up. Now, Storm is finished, and there's 6 High Templars in here. It's pretty decent. Scans it, sees the High Templars. They're not Archons, so we can assume that they're going to be casting Storm. Pylon in place. And we'll see how pros don't panic. Still expanding on this side. Nice Storms. Supplies still doing pretty even right now. Archons being morphed in. That is a lot of. It would have been really nice if we managed to snipe off those Archons before they morphed. Those things are. Speaking of beefy, those things are very beefy. Demuslim, very interestingly, is super far ahead in his supply. I just noticed that. That force field's really crappy. The Archon could run over it. But it's very unfortunate for the Protoss player. He wants his Zealots to really get in there and surround the units. Time Warp, once again, isn't going to do too much because the army doesn't really want to commit. And we still see more economy production. Demuslim's not skipping a beat. We really see that strong pro nature in there. And that was a pretty impressive two-base play. There's no third nexus even in the consideration for our Protoss player. 6 more High Templars, more Storms ready. There's a lot of medevacs in this composition though. Unfortunately, they are very low on health. Pretty good separation of the units. Great Storm dodge there. That one also was a pretty good dodge. Lost a lot of units against the cliffs. So in this case, like Demuslim, if he can hold off, he's going to be so far ahead because of that third base. And he knows that because he's essentially blocking the third base of his opponent. So what he really wants to do right now is just deflect this as best he can. He may have to pull some SCVs. Looks like he is going to attack now that they're back in the mineral line. He separated the army very well. Still pretty good supply lead here for Dragger. More units coming in. These guys just got warped in, so they don't have Storm yet. Still going to be another 10 seconds, 15 seconds or so before that Storm's ready. I don't know if the Muslim's aware of that, because this would be his best time to try and put some damage back in. Nope, he's got some Storms available now. The Muslim hasn't really lost much economy or any of his production, so he's still in a really good spot. Upgrades, if 2-2 finishes, is going to be amazing for him. Would be really good to take out that Mothership core though. Time warps suck. You don't want him to get a recall out of there if he is about to lose. It does go down. Lots of Zealots up in here. +2 armor actually, no attack. I didn't notice that before. Makes these things extremely tanky where all the Templar are here to do the damage. Still some Storms remaining. And very beat up Terran army. Very, very low in health. Pretty good separation of the Terran units here, but there's just a lot of Zealots on top of the production. More streaming in, pure Zealots. Back at home, still nothing else. Still got minerals there. It looks at the supply though that Demuslim is just turning this over. Yeah, that's right, 2-2 finished. I think that was the big thing for Demuslim there, was that the 2-2 did finish off. More High Templars warping in. Once again, there's going to be a few seconds before Storm is available. And we see Demuslim really pulling ahead in the supply lead here. He kept those medevacs alive, and he kept his upgrades going. And I think that's been a huge difference for him here. These Zealots obviously are tanking really well. They've been really good to take out that pylon. There's no other forward pylon for the Protoss player right now. Still no Storms available here. Nice target firing there by Demuslim. Forces the Archon morph. I mean, Archons are obviously strong, but you'd like to cast those Storms first if you have the opportunity to. Alright, pardon the interruptions. We are back though, and Demuslim is taking control of this game. Very interestingly, I think if the Protoss actually sent over a handful of those Zealots this way, just to disrupt that mining, maybe it'd been a bit of a better position. But with the upgrade advantage that the Terran has, a now existing army advantage, upgrade advantage. It's just, yeah, a little bit out of hand now, I think, for the Protoss player. More production facilities going down. Good spot. Really managing everything well economy-wise. Not super far ahead on workers, but obviously the Protoss player, which I'm surprised hasn't even tried to expand, because he keeps investing so much into the army. And he's kind of all in now. He's got to go for a push and hope it works. Otherwise, yeah, he's just going to kind of lose. Pretty good Storm. It's another great place for, you know, Demuslim to engage at the bottom of the ramp. More units ready to go. Quite a good chunk of Zealots. Once again, they're still just sitting on a couple of armor, which is usually very good against a Terran player with a lot of bio, because obviously the bio would lose a lot of the damage there, the DPS. But, oh, the mule blockage. That was sexy. That was really cool. Those weren't manor mules. What you can do in games is mules actually, they're like workers and can block. Dream come true to you. That's awesome. I don't know if it'd be my biggest dream to play Demuslim, but I'd be pretty stoked about that. He probably would have won a long time ago, though. SeKo Starcraft, hope you guys like that. Great game by Demuslim with one of his fans, and we will talk with you guys later.